So, Marius, regarding the closing dates, if
Yes.
it's anything there you want to tell us what we should be aware, or any danger, any challenges, any unexpected situations?
So many years before, even up to this year in April, for example, it was not a problem closing a deal because the market went up, and for that didn't matter for how much higher you sold that property. The bank usually they gave the mortgage because they knew that prices are going up.
Okay.
So they are kind of secure, in their investment to give you the mortgage. I had a situation when this summer when some clients they didn't want to move out, and the house was pretty decent. They didn't even want to do some small rentals because they said let's try it like that. So I told them, I said it's not a good idea, but because they are long time clients and friends, they say no problem, I can make an exception for you. But guess what? We didn't sell the house. And just because they cook, and then when I called the agents to give me the feedback, the buyer agent, they said, Marius, the house was nice, the layout, but they needed some small renovations like I told them to do. So they pointed at that, and then and was a kind of smell in the house because the people they still cooked and they still eat,
which
like
is
it's normal,
which is normal, but you have to decide what you want to do, right?
Yeah. So we didn't sell it because of that. So when you try to sell a house for a very good price, you have to impress potential buyers with all their senses. So visually, it has to be a good smell in the house, and everything has to be perfect with all six senses.
Yeah, because you don't want to live in other people's lives, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when you walk in somebody's story, it's actually living there. It feels like you are intruding. You're like, okay, this is not. I want to buy this house. I don't want to take the house with other people's living in a house.
They cannot see themselves there with another smell.
Exactly, like the pictures on the walls with the families. I mean, I know they treasure their pictures, but it's not good for business.
It's not good business.
Because it's like, I don't want to let it go of this house. This is my house. This is why I'm keeping all the pictures on the walls, right?
So I advise them to take all the family pictures from the walls, to paint it to be fresh, to clean the vents.
And I know painting is a big one. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You have to paint even if it's clean, because it's a different smell. It's a cleaning. It's a clean smell. When you walk inside, and I know you like the white walls, and I like the white walls, to be honest, because you can decorate with whatever you want. If you like colors, great, because you can put whatever you want.
Yeah, if they want to put a darker color, they just paint a darker color. But if it's a darker color, they have to give 2-3 paint coats of another paint and a primer, and then to print. So it's
it's a lot. Sorry, but it's not an easy, because when people decide for, especially a house, it's expensive. It's not like going and buy a bread, or you have to make a huge decision.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of psychology is going on in our heads. We don't have to be special.
You have to committed to spend some money, because no house is perfect. And in all the houses, as I said, the minimum they have to do is the paint. The minimum, the paint in the entire house.
That's a must.
This is a must.
That's a must.
And then cleaning the vents, and be perfect. And then if you have to change a countertop, or if you want to change the backsplash, few things.
I think it's the bathrooms and the kitchen. They have to be outstanding, right?
Bathroom and kitchen, perfect. And even the basement. Some people, they say, oh, the basement is not so important, but it is important. In my opinion, every room is important, even in the garage. Like, I'm very picky with the garage. So when the people, they said, oh, you know what, Marius, the previous agents, the listing agent that we used like a few years ago, they put everything that we, they order decluttering from our house. They advised us to put it on the garage, in the garage. And I said to them, no, I'm not a fan of that. Why? Because usually the buyers, they see the garage the last time. So last time, that the last room that they can see on the house is the garage. So they see all the house, and then they open the door, and they see a big mess there.
They forget they saw a beautiful house.
They forgot the house, and in their head they see that just messy garage. So in my opinion, my listings, All the garages, they are empty, clean and paint. Paint the walls in white, paint the the floor in gray, and then also the basement. If it is not finished, we don't have anything. Declutter. Everything is decluttered. Everything is clean, even if it's not.
Yes, but you don't want to see like toys everywhere or
we clean
whatever.
perfectly, and I asked my contractors to paint the floors again in gray, and then the basement looks immaculate.
Yes, inviting.
If it's finished, all the time we stage the basement, every room.
Like any room.
Yeah. So other agents they use third-party companies because they're expensive. The clients, they decide not to do the basement, even if the basement is finished, or the outside, which is a big mistake because, as I said, you have to impress with all the senses of human being. In all the rooms, in all the spaces, inside, in the basement, and outside. So we do also on outside. Just the last listing that I put like 2 days ago. Probably we took another 30 bags of leaves. It's November.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the leaves. There were so many leaves on the backyard. I never promised. We are not doing that. But our client was a little bit older, 79, and so I felt like, you know what? Let's help these guys. He trusted me. I didn't promise that.
It's not only that, but it's you, Marius.
So I don't want to be perfect.
You respect yourself.
Yes, I respect myself.
And you want the perfection, and you don't want to think I did everything, but I did that, but. Yeah. So you don't want the but in your head.
So that one was a kind of Muskoka setting with a park on the backyard.
I can't even imagine how many
so
leaves.
many trees and so many leaves.
I only can imagine.
And imagine we took in 2 days 30 bags. We put it, me and my son, because we want to do everything by ourselves. We are not relying on all three parties, companies, because I have a bad experience. They're not coming on time. They are, let's say, lazy. They come, like, let's say they are pre-booked for 2 weeks. I cannot wait 2 weeks. I have to put a listing tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So what I can do, I do it myself.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not ashamed to do that.
No, you should be proud, not ashamed.
Because I have clients and the people there say, man, I didn't see a real estate agent working so hard for me. So they're impressed. And that one, probably not just the price because I sell it for the most, but they see the work that I put. So they're not going in the future with any other agent.
So Marius, regarding the closing dates, if it's anything there you want to tell us what we should be aware, or any dangers, any challenges, any unexpected situations. Do you have any experience, any example? That would be amazing if you could give us, because people say, well, I just give the deposit, so I'm just doing the closing, but can happen anything between
it can happen. So so many years before, even up to this year in April, for example, was not a problem closing a deal because the market went up, and that didn't matter for how much higher you sold that property. The bank usually they gave the mortgage because they knew that prices are going up. So they are kind of secure, on their investment to give you the mortgage. But because of the downturn and prices were going down for several months, now what I realized, and so many deals didn't close, especially in July, August, because they were sold in the peak of the market. Let's say April, March, or February. Let's say it was in my example. So I sold one in April, and the closing was in August, so 3 months and a half. So and even now is that this trend. So what it is now, the banks, they are more reluctant to give the mortgage, and then if let's say the market is going down and it's still going down, and the closing date is far away, let's say 3 or 4 months. In 3 or 4 months, the government can raise the rates, like in the last 4 months, they raised a lot, 3 times, and the mortgage rates are much higher, and then the recession is here. So the banks now, they send an appraisal. So what means the appraisal? I mean, the bank has to be sure that house has that value. So imagine 4 months ago, the potential buyer could be pre-approved for that house and was okay. But because of the long closing and you know, higher interest rates and stuff like that, that buyer cannot be any more pre-approved. It cannot anymore take that you know, like mortgage, because it's a different situation. So what it is, the bank will send 2 weeks, usually like 2-3 weeks prior to closing, an appraiser that they choose. So it's not the buyer is choosing, the bank is choosing.
Yes, they have to be sure.
Exactly, and the mortgage, even the mortgage broker is very professional, because the bank is sending the appraisal, so they don't have any control of that. So if that appraisal, for example, let's say you buy a house for 1.5, let's just give you an example, and then the appraiser 2 weeks before the closing came to 1.2. So it's 300,000 difference between the selling price and the you know, appraised price. So what it is, let's say that buyer, you know, was willing to buy the house, pre-approved with 20% down payment, and everything was okay, so they were pre-approved. But imagine now, because the appraiser came for 1.2, 20% of they have to put 20% of 1.2 million, okay, which means about $240,000.
Yes.
Plus another 300,000, the difference between the appraisal value and the sold value, the sold price value. So basically now, instead to pay 240, and they were happy to pay 240 to put like down payment, you know, 20% of the, okay, now they have to pay 240 plus 300,000, the difference. So now they have to pay 540.
Oh my God.
And imagine, you know, like, not so many people, they have that kind of money in their savings account to supplement with 300,000 right away.